You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good Monday morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Monday, October 27th, episode 3805. Good morning, horse people.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I cannot believe it's like 60 days or less than that. 50-some days till Christmas, everybody.
Oh, my God, what?
Just thought I'd let you know. Today on the show, we have a couple of terrific guests. We have Polo Player Kirsten Kopp is going to join us. Her and her husband sold everything for a brand new adventure, and you can follow along. And Pat Raia is going to join us with a simple fall recipe and some amazing stories about her family that you have to listen to. You are great at getting family stories out this month. I gotta tell you,
I'm on a roll.
This one actually set the hairs up because I read a lot about the history of that time in the place she talks about. So she's going to do a recipe eventually after we get done her family stuff for baked acorn squash, which you and I, neither of us, I don't think have ever cooked. So, and then we have some product reviews we're going to do at the beginning of the show and some That Girl moments from our listeners. In the Auditor Post show, I asked AI to give us 10 funny, lighthearted life questions that we should ask ourselves. And I actually liked them, and I think we should talk about them. They're kind of funny.
It's debatable. Go ahead.
We're going to do that. But first, we have something brand new for you, Jamie and I do. And this as a result of us doing product reviews for non-horsey stuff. We've done that occasionally on the show over this past year, and a lot of people have gone out and bought the stuff, and a lot of people keep asking us a month or two later, what did we recommend? Do we have the link for it? And we decided to just solve the problem, and we went ahead and created an Amazon store. It's the Glenn and Jamie Amazon store. And what we did is we went back and pretty much everything we talked about this year, we put in the Amazon store. So I'll put a link to it in the show notes, but you can go right there and find all the things we've talked about this year, especially now that we're getting to gift giving time. And we do get a little bit of a kickback if you use our link, so we'd appreciate it if you do. It doesn't cost you any extra. So we would definitely love for you to visit that. I've talked about the ice cream maker.
People. I got vet bills to pay. Yes. Amazon.com/shop/horses in the morning. By the way, if you just search for horses in the morning in the Amazon search, it does not work. It took me to a t-shirt, Glenn, and I want to just let you know that this t-shirt might have a cute meaning until you realize like who I am. It says, "I love the smell of horses in the morning."
Okay.
And I was like, that seems gross.
Depends which part you're smelling.
I don't know, because I sometimes forget to put on deodorant like this morning because it's early and I'm like, oh, I don't love the smell of horses in the morning.
They don't love your smell either.
Nope.
So we have reviewed stuff. I reviewed that weed whacker that I love so much and still use and still love so much. I reviewed the ice cream cups. Remember those? And you reviewed a bunch of products too, and we have them all in there. So there's one easy place for you. And we each have a product that we're going to review this morning, and I'll get us started. I just used this, and it sounds bizarre, but a lot of us own older trucks. I know many of us own older trucks. And what happens with older trucks is the headlights get all foggy. And eventually they get so fogged over that you either have to buy new headlights or something, and you can't see out of them anymore. They cut light about 50%. Well, our 2013 GMC, I drove it the one morning and I was like, I cannot see anything. It was dark out. I had the headlights on and I was like, these headlights suck. And then I got out and looked at the headlights and went, okay. They're so glazed over with whatever happens to headlights that I either have to buy new headlights, which is hundreds of dollars, or I have to find a way to clean them. So I read all about these different cleaners, and I bought the Sylvania Headlight Restoration Kit. And I didn't have much confidence that this was going to work at all, trust me. It's a 3-step process, and it takes about a half an hour, and you have to follow the steps exactly. Oh my God, my headlights look brand new. When I was done, Jennifer came out and said, "Did you replace the headlights?" I said, "No, I just used this cleaner kit that I was convinced wouldn't work." They're like brand new. It really worked. So this bit of magic was $20. New headlights for that truck are over $400. Yeah. So $20, I got them, took me a half an hour. I got them cleaned. And let me tell you, we can see to drive at night again, which is amazing. And I know you're probably thinking, you people with new trucks, but you've all had a truck that has had this eventually. So this really does work. It was 20 some bucks. I highly recommend it. There's mine.
Well, I'm going to talk about two things because both my things add up to the same cost as yours. And one is this is how I live. Okay. I live with my sleep headband, and what it is, it's a Bluetooth headband. And I like this particular one. It's really wide and it has little speakers in the ear and a little on off button up top. And you turn it on and it has like little Bluetooth speakers like that just press up against your ear, because I hate having earbuds in. And I sleep with this thing because when you hit a certain age as a woman, sleep is evasive at best. And so I put on a really boring political podcast or whatever you want to put on that's really boring, not Horses in the Morning, obviously, because you'll be laughing while
we've had many people email say they fall asleep to us.
I know. It's a thing. I love it. Let me put you to sleep. I love it. So it's it's the ones that I use, and I've bought probably 15 different ones, and this is the one I like the best.
And the ear doesn't poke you like where the speaker is?
It's flat up against your ear. Now, if you're side sleeping, I just kind of push it up a little bit, but I can still hear it. But I do love this one. And the cool thing is with the colors, it's like got butterflies all over it. I would never wear that out, but I can see it across the room, so I know where it is. So I really like that one. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about, because I was just talking about...
It looks to come, by the way, in multiple different colors from what I'm seeing here.
It does, but get one with a lot of crazy things, because then you can see it really easily.
And it's so sexy.
In the dark.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I can't figure out. And this one is big enough to cover your eyes too. The other thing is, and this sounds so weird.
When you put this on the list and I saw it, I was like, what the hell is going on in her house?
Okay. Yeah. It's called Scalpicin. And what it is, it's a scalp itch treatment. And you're like, what's wrong with Jamie's head?
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Dude, it's the end of the summer, and it happens to me all summer long after I take off my helmet and my head is wet underneath. It starts to itch. I went to the doctor and they were like, I don't see anything wrong. I'm like, my head is like on fire itchy. And I've tried 10 different things. And this is like a cortisone, just topical, that it's like, you just kind of like put it where the itches are. Gone. It has saved my life, because I was constantly scratching my head looking like a crackhead. And I'm like, looking ridiculous, like scratching. This is like, it's like your head's on fire and this just is water and just like puts the fire out. So I know I've talked to a lot of ladies whose heads itch after they are in the after they've been riding, and I mean, I've tried everything, and I found this thing and I've bought like 10 of them. I just have them. I have them everywhere. It's so great. So if your head itches and you can't sleep, here's my 2 influencer buttons.
So Scalpicin was $7 and the other was $13 and mine was $20. So these are not expensive products we're recommending.
No, we're not going for price here. We're just going for, we just wanted you to have a link to the things that make our life better. And I would love it if you see something that you love, just send me the link. I would love to include it.
And don't forget, we'll put the link in the show notes so you can find it right there on your podcast player. And I'll put it in every episode so that no matter when, you can find it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's do some daily Whinnies. Last week, we had like very few birthdays. Today, we have a lot of birthdays. So these are all auditors, and happy birthday to all of you. Bridget Brixton, Nicole Green, Jolynn Lunders, Jessica Sackett, and Judy Passmore. Happy birthday to all of you.
Oh my God. I've been so excited to talk to you guys about this. That did something so cool. Okay. So my daily Whinnie goes to Nelda from Horse and Hound, and I'll tell you why. So on Thursday, I had some friends that were running one of their horses at Remington. So we all go up and we go to celebrate them, and their mare was in the 5th race. And so we're waiting around, and there's a storm coming. Like everybody says it's going to rain. But in the 4th race, we were down in the paddock watching, and I saw this horse, this little horse. I don't know if he's dark bay or black. You can't really tell because it was dark and cloudy, but he was walking around the paddock, and he just looked like, do you remember the movie Seabiscuit? When the first time he sees Seabiscuit, he was like, he's walking through the fog. His head was low. He looked a little bit, that whole like moment of them seeing Seabiscuit walk through the fog.
Love
that
at
is
first
what
sight.
happened. Well, they were like, there's something there. There is, I don't know what it is, but there's something there. And my heart was like, this horse needs some help. I'm going to get emotional talking about it. So he was entered in a $5,000 claiming race. And that's pretty close to the bottom of the barrel as far as horse racing goes. So fortunately I didn't bet on him because he came in second to last. I mean, because he's walking around, and I looked up his name, and his name is Miami Moonlight. And I'm looking at him and I'm just like, oh, he just doesn't. It's not like he was lame or he was being stupid or he was super. I just looked at him and I was like, he just doesn't need to be here anymore. He's in a $5,000 claimer. He's 5 years old. I looked at his record. He maybe won 1 out of 26. And so I looked at the trainer's name, and it's actually a pretty well-known trainer in Oklahoma. So I find another friend of mine who is also a trainer. I'm going to go pulse his horses this week. And he's a really great dude. And I'm like, Scott, do you know this guy? And he was like, yeah, he's a great guy. He's been a trainer around here for 100 years, man. He's a great guy. He really likes his horses. And I was like, do you have his phone number? And he's like, okay.
Like, do I really want to give Jamie his phone number?
Exactly. So he gives me the phone number, and the next morning, so the horse went out and ran the race and came in 5th out of six, so I call the trainer the next morning about 10. The horses come off the track at 10. So I call him about 10:05. And I was like, hi, my name is Jamie, and I work with and train horses for the Horse and Hound Rescue Foundation in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And I was calling to see, I saw that you had a horse, Miami Moonlight, last night running the 4th race in the 5,000 claimer. And I was just wondering what your plans are with him. Silence. And he goes, you know what? I was just talking to his owners about that this morning. We don't really think he will. He's like, I rehome most of my I handle most of the rehoming of the thoroughbreds off the track. And like I said, this guy has a great reputation, super nice guy. And he was like, I was just talking to these owners this morning, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I called, because you can't possibly think this guy needs to run. And he was like, I usually rehome them, but I'm having, I've got a lot going on, and I'll talk to the owners about it. Now, meanwhile, I'm like, oh crap. So I call Nelda, and I'm like, Nelda, I did something. I was like, I don't know what I did. I don't know if anything's going to happen, but I was like, I saw this $5,000 claim last night. I mean, he just, no, my Moonlight, he doesn't need to be there, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, okay, go get him. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Jamie, at this point, if you see one that needs help, jump in and help. And I was like, oh, that's like the nicest thing. So I'm waiting on anything to happen. And I call this guy at like 10:05. And at 11:30, I get a text from Nelda. She goes, I don't know what you said, but he'll be here on Monday. Oh,
Holy cow. He didn't even call you back. He just called. Huh? He probably knew about Nelda. I'm sure all the trainers there do.
He did not.
He didn't.
And Nelda was like, he's never given us a horse ever. He has never given us a horse.
Well, good for you.
So he's arriving on
Are you gonna
today.
train him?
Oh, so I was like what's she's sending him next weekend supposedly if he lets down real easy and he's happy and she sees that he's ready to come to me, he'll come to me, and I'm just so excited and I'm so proud. So the daily Whinnie portion of this, when I called Nelda after this, when I got that text, I was like, oh my God, what? She goes, oh, by the way, he's sending another mare as well. So I'm like, well, now we've got a relationship.
Had her on the phone.
Yeah. And she gives them a tax. She's able to give them a tax write-off. So, there's a benefit to it. It's not just like they're just
that is
throwing them
advantage
away.
to doing it with a charity, right? Yeah,
with a charity, a 501c3, and they have all of this great things that they can do, and that's why you want to work with a reputable rescue. But I called her and I was like, I just wanted to say sorry for adding to your plate, but thank you for letting me add to your plate. And she was like, again, if you see one that needs help, you get it. You get it. No questions asked. And I'm like, what a resource. I'm just like, I've been on cloud 9 all weekend, be like, I saved him. Like, he's not going to go to somewhere else and run for 1,500.
You were looking for another one. Maybe this will turn out to be the one.
I mean, who knows? I don't even remember what he looks like. I remember what he like spoke to me as he walked by, and he was just like, what was his name again? Don't care. His name is Miami Moonlight.
So we have Craigslist Carl, and we have racetrack. No, it doesn't rhyme. I'll have to come up with something.
You'll have to come up with something, but he'll be here. Probably he gets to Horse and Hound today. They're going to deliver him and this other mare, and hopefully, I opened a door to a relationship with a trainer that does really nice care of his horses and really does right by them, and will retire them when they're sound and not when they're broken. That makes the horses more easily adoptable.
This horse didn't need to race in 70 claimers at $5,000.
No. But how cool to call the trainer and him's like, I was just thinking about that.
Hang up on you.
Yeah. Or shut up, kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because I am a
it sounded
child.
like timing was
man.
perfect on that call, though. I mean, it was just couldn't have been better.
It's almost like I planned that. Weird. I don't know. Whatever.
Well,
but
job.
I'm so excited.
Yay.
So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know we get here. Again, I have a video of him because I had the girls with me and they took a video because it was right in front of where we were sitting, where they broke out of the gates, and they did a slow-mo video. One of the little Austrian girls, she did a slow-mo video, and you see him break out and he breaks first and he breaks brilliantly, and then everybody else passes.
I'm done. Halfway through the race, I'm just done.
That was it. That's all I got. So I'll send you that video. So if you can screenshot it, you can use. Actually, I'll just do a screenshot and you can use it in the show notes if you want.
Sounds
but anyway, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Not because I'm like, I want this horse, just because I was able to help him. And so thank you to Horse and Hound and Nelda. You guys, if you ever have some extra money, you're like, what do I do with it? You throw it at her, please. Oh my God. They're just the greatest. She's just the greatest people over there. Amazing.
Well, right now it's time. It is that time of year when I start begging. That's right. I start begging you to submit those voicemail entries for what we're now calling. What's replacing Radiothon is the Horses in the Morning Holiday Week, going to be the first week of December. We're looking for all the songs and poems that you can muster. But one change this year, for all of you songwriters out there, is we can't have music backing the songs due to licensing issues. So we can't hear the music. One trick that you can do is you can actually put in earbuds and you can listen to the music to sing along to while it records your voice. Then we don't hear the music.
Like, isn't like Jingle Bells and out of...
Yeah, but I can't be researching
money?
every one of them to find out if they are or not.
What about if we played the music ourselves, but it was really bad? Like you could kind of
No,
recognize it
can't do
as
it
Jingle
this year.
Bells.
No, can't do it. You know why, too. So we can't do it this year. But
I don't care if you continue to get cease and desist letters because of my amazing singing. Okay.
it's a cappella, but you can listen to what I'm saying is you can listen to music while you sing it if that makes you feel better. We just can't hear the music. You can hear the music.
Can you play some
we
Jingle
can't.
Bells in the back? Maybe a little drum beat on the desk.
You could do that because even your singing, nobody, right? We've never had a cease and desist from your singing, so that's not a problem. So this year's theme is the year of equine gratitude. What are you thankful for in your equestrian life this year? That's the theme we have this year. You can record them using the voicemail button on the website or submit the sound file using the form that I'll put a link to in the show notes. It's a long link, so I can't give it. But we actually have a form. If you record it yourself, you can submit it through the form, or you can record it. Just go to horseradionetwork.com. There's a voicemail on the right side. You just click that, start talking or singing or saying your poem, and it'll be right there for you. It'll send it to us automatically.
You don't want to just have me read the google.com/form/d/e/1FALPQLSFKNZ.
And remember, this can be about your horses. It can be about us at Horses in the Morning. It can be about your fellow auditors. It can be about butters. It can be about whatever you
Miami
like.
Moonlight.
Whatever you like. The deadline is November the 21st. Now, we are going to offer, this is right now for just people with songs or poems. We are going to open this up to people who just want to talk about what they're grateful for, but that's going to be a little later. But right now, we're just looking for the songs and the poems. This is due by November 21st. I definitely need them in by November 21st because we need time to get them ready for the show. I have a couple of samples that I want to give you because some people are new to the show and they may not have any idea what we're talking about. I have a sample song from last year, and this one was done by Sharon. So let's take a listen.
Jolly podcaster Glenn, lend your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm gonna say. Radiothon is coming soon. Now, podcaster Glenn, whisper what will happen. Tell me if you can. When we're at hour 2 with guests and fun galore, out will come the prizes, more and more and more. Mary wants Mustangs to train, Karen 100-mile ride, and Reese wants a Hanoverian with a grand huge stride. Jamie wants a covered arena, Jen a gated horse. But whatever prize I win is fine with me, of course. Happy holidays, everyone, from Sharon, Ed, Iggy, Judy, Moose, Jasmine Morningstar, and the rest.
So that's kind of an idea of what we'd like. And Jamie still wants the covered indoor arena.
Dude, I'm like, everybody else got this stuff on the list.
Jamie,
God.
I have a story about Jennifer, her new gated horse that she did over the weekend, but it's going to go in that girl section. So later in the show.
Yay.
And then I have a poem too, and Jenny did the poem.
Hello, Horses in the Morning.
Hello.
This is Jenny in Chula Vista, California, and I wrote a poem celebrating the gifts of 2024. It's called A Year to Remember. What Y'all Got. Jamie got a good night's rest. Her new mattress was the cause. Glenn got a surgery. Now he can breathe through his unclogged schnoz. Chad got a lot of work. A hailstorm wrecked the roof. Lucas got a sister. She's a serious German goof. Anna got a furry friend. Her ears reached to the sky. And Ashley got a baby boy, so cute he'd make you cry. Coach Jen got some acreage, a happy horsey nest. And Barrett finished college. Now let's hope he gets some rest. Happy holidays.
Isn't that great?
Barrett.
I played that just to upset you this morning.
I'm fine.
Deep
Everything's
breath, deep
fine.
breath.
Everything is fine.
All right, so get your entries in. We would love to hear from you this year, and it's the favorite part of the holidays for Jamie and I is hearing all of your songs and your poems.
Hey, by the way, he did call me on my birthday.
He did? Is he still
did.
alive, doing his job and all
He's
that
doing great, but he had no idea it was my birthday. So he gets half credit.
I got your birthday wrong this year too, so we're both in the same boat. I think
It's okay. My dad forgot totally, so it's fine.
I was early, at least. I wasn't late.
Oh, do you know what's funny? Yeah, you were early. My dad did not call me at all on my birthday and called me 2 days later. And he's like, oh, so sorry. Like, remember my dad just retired from being a State Farm agent for like 55 years, right? Like he was an agent forever, the longest running agent in State Farm. So he retires. He forgets my birthday. And I get a letter in the mail about 5 days later and it's in his handwriting. And I was like, oh, mama got a check. Like, because like he forgot my birthday. What's he gonna do? He's gotta mail me a check. So I'm like, I get there. I see his chicken scratch handwriting. I'm like, yes, Dad sent me a card. I open it up, and it's my statement for my life insurance. What? Come on, Dad.
That's funny. Hey, do you remember on Friday, was it Really Bad Ads? We talked about the Hollywood sign and whether you could ride a horse up to the Hollywood sign. Was that Friday? It was last week.
That was the
sometime.
list you had of things you had to do.
Oh,
Bucket
yes.
list.
Yes, that's right. Your bucket list was ride up to the Hollywood sign. And we were like, can you even do that anymore? Apparently you can. We've heard from several of our listeners, of course. But JD said you absolutely can. The stables is called Sunset Ranch. I worked there a long time ago as a guide when I was in college, and he met his wife there. She was working there too. And it's called Sunset Ranch Hollywood. The barn was built in the 1920s and was the stabling barn for the houses in the Hollywood Hill or Hollywood Land development. Some famous horses have even been stabled there over the last 100 years, and apparently they will ride you up to the Hollywood sign.
I'm in. I want to do it.
How about that?
I just want to walk up there.
We learn so
Horses
much
is
from
way
our
better.
listeners. We really do.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our first guest. Jeez, we're 30 minutes in. We haven't even gone to the guest yet. So let's go to Pat Raia, who's been a guest on our show for probably 10 years. And she comes on around the holidays to give us some recipes and some fun. But we recorded this earlier. And you guys, I know that don't like recipes. You don't want to miss the beginning of this interview where she talks about her family.
I'd love to welcome our friend Pat Raia, and she is from Italian Comfort Food, and also Horse Welfare News has been her baby for many, many years. Pat, how are you, my friend?
I am very well, my dear. How are you?
Oh, I'm so happy to hear your voice. I was just thinking about you the other day and wondering how you are, and here you are. This is fantastic.
Here I am.
What is going on in what's happening in Pat's life?
Well, we're having, even in Florida here, we have fall, we have autumn. So we're actually getting some autumn weather, and this is absolutely beautiful. And the crisp temperatures, it's been like 60 in the morning, kind of gets me in the mood for autumnal food. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, I mean, not much gets me out of the mood for autumnal food, which I love how you call it that. But even in Florida, you guys feel do leaves even change in Florida?
They do not. They do not change, and they do not fall. The way that it's very easy here in Florida to get confused about what season it really is. Like in the middle of winter, I go, oh, wow, it's summer. This is good.
You know it's fall when you don't sweat as much.
Exactly right. It's been a horrific summer. It's been in the 90s. We've also been struggling with drought. And so we're finally going to get some rain, and the weather is getting fine. I can actually have my coffee in the morning without fainting dead away. So it's good. It's good to be outside.
Remind everybody, before we get into the recipe, what your life has been with horses.
Oh, my life with horses. My Santino, my Tennessee walking horse, just died a couple of years ago, and he brought me through 3 bouts of cancer. He and I were very, very close, but I started riding when I was a little bitty girl, and my dad when he was coming up, they had a produce business, and they used horses and wagons to deliver the produce back in Chicago, way back in the day. And my dad's job was to take care of the horses. And he was really a horse whisperer before there was even a horse whisperer. I mean, they would come out of the stalls and they would be on him. So from the time I was a little girl, he would take me on pony rides when I was very tiny. And then of course that graduated to riding lessons when I was 8 years old. And I was riding from the time I was 5 years old until just a couple of years ago when I lost Santino and I kind of slowed down a little bit.
So let me get this straight. We're learning so much about people's cool parents. Your dad was a produce delivery guy through the streets of Chicago with
Correct.
Horses.
Correct. He and his family owned a produce house in Chicago called Raia Brothers Produce. It was my dad and his dad and my dad's brother, Tony. And they had, back in the day, there were no grocery stores. There were just little neighborhood stores. And, in Chicago, to this day, you still have Polish neighborhoods and Irish neighborhoods and Italian neighborhoods. And so my dad and his brother and father would deliver fruits and vegetables to the Italian grocery stores in the Italian neighborhoods in Chicago. And
oh my gosh.
He did this actually until he was into his 80s. I mean, the businesses kind of wore away because, later the little mom and pop stores went out of business. But it was catering companies that he would deliver the produce to, and they had a reputation for having high quality everything that they sold. And he took it very seriously. I mean, this was his thing, and nobody could buy a watermelon like his name also was Pat Raia. I'm a junior.
Wow, junior, I love it.
nobody could buy a watermelon like Pat Raia. I mean, I never remember even as a child having a bad watermelon. So he knew his stuff, and he also loved to cook, and so he also taught me how to cook all kinds of things. I would watch him, and he would tell me, we do this and that, and you brown this, and you use that, and he was quite a guy. He was really something. He died at 95.
I got to tell you, he must have been one tough cookie, because back in the day when he was delivering in Chicago, that was the height of the Italian mafia, too.
Yes, in fact, it was. And he said to me at one point, I said, later as I got older and I was working in Chicago as a reporter. And I said, well, how did you do this? Because these guys try to control the produce houses and the people.
Oh, yeah,
and
that was big for them.
He said, they'd get on the running boards. He said they were kids. They were young men. And I asked him that. I said, what is the difference between the young gangsters or the gangsters when you were a young man and the gangsters today? And he said, well, they're all young men. They were all young men. And they'd jump up on the running board and they'd say, well, we need a buck or we need this. And he said, I just dig in my pocket and give them a buck. And he said, they always took good care of me, never bothered me. He actually, this is an interesting story, was going down the street past the garage when the Valentine's Day massacre was taking place.
Oh my
and he said, I just kept going. So, his daughter would be a crime reporter, right?
Oh my God, that's amazing. So what year was that?
Oh my God, I
20s?
want to say that was 1920 something.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in the 20s. Oh yeah.
And then so you became a crime reporter in Chicago.
I did.
Oh my God, you
did.
must have some stories just from that.
Oh, it was a wonderful life. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was like eating chocolate pudding every day.
Of course, Pat would bring it back to food.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm Italian. What else is there?
I love it. I love it. So your page, and what we've always celebrated here is your page called What Italians Really Eat. And I will tell you that just last night I made an Italian-ish, let me not embarrass myself, but I made like a pasta dish, and I still hear all the rules for making pasta in my, don't you rinse that. Don't rinse the pasta.
Never.
When you drain it, that's liquid gold that you're
That's correct.
I hear you in my head all the time. So I'm so excited to learn about this autumnal recipe that you are going to present us with today. And oh my gosh, please, 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 as a writer, write a story about your dad so we can all read it. I want to hear everything.
I'm actually writing a story right now, just real quick, about a young man who was coming up in the newspaper business in 1911. And it is about, how he had to go to work because he had this big family and he had to help support them. And it's about his life and the things that he sees. So it's kind of about my dad. Pat Raia is the inspiration for this. The Pat Raias, all of them, junior and senior.
I love that his brother was named Tony too. I mean, you can't get any more Italian than that.
No, not at all. But actually, my name is Patrice. It's not Italian at all. His name was Pasquale. My name is Patrice. But my mother didn't want to call me Patricia because she thought that was kind of dumb.
What was your mother's name?
My mother's name was Yolanda Verzani.
Oh my God. This is right out of a book.
And your family, and it just makes me so happy. All right, well, let's get into this recipe before we run out of time. So this is baked acorn squash, and I will tell you that I have seen these things in the store, and I have no idea what the hell to do with them. So fill me in.
Okay. Well, this is very American. This is not Italian at all. This was a recipe that I picked up when I was living in New England, when I was in school and in college and later. Acorn squash is the thing that it's a squash, but it looks like an acorn. It's kind of bulbous and, round. So what you want to do to bake it, it's really not complicated, and it's a wonderful vegetarian-friendly dish. So you slice this thing in half at the circumference, right? So you're going to cut it in the middle where it's the fattest. And I usually take the stem off. I whack the stems off because you want it to be flat on the plate when you serve it, or in the bowl when you serve it. So you're going to whack off the top and you're going to whack off a little bit on the bottom. Now, this is the fun part. So we open it up and the flesh is probably yellow, or kind of a whitish yellow. Take a teaspoon and scoop out the seeds. Do not throw away the seeds. I got a recipe for those too. So you set the seeds aside and you make sure the inside is not only got the seeds in it, but it's kind of fibrous. So take your spoon and you kind of scoop the fibers out of there and all that jazz. Now, you have a shallow baking pan. I actually use my mother was a Corningware freak, and I have a roasting pan, a small roasting pan. Fill that about an inch and a half with water. Put the squash cut side down in the pan, and you've already heated the oven to 350 degrees. So when the oven is heated, you cover this all with aluminum foil, the squash, and you shove it in the oven and you bake it for about, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You want it to be soft. Okay. So you tell that it's done by this is very scientific, taking a fork and sticking a fork in it. And if it's tender at the top, right, it's done.
Okay.
When it's done, you take it out of the oven and you make sure, because it's upside down, right, you want to make sure that there's no water in that well when you turn the squash over. So now you've got it I use just a regular bowl, like a small salad bowl or whatever, and I put the two sides in the bowl. Now, you can do all kinds of stuff. Now you have the raw material to do all kinds of stuff. You can, if you're really a sweet freak, you can melt butter and chop walnuts and put sugar. I would use monk fruit because I don't do sugar. Sugar and cinnamon, and mix it all together, and then pour it on the squash right before you serve it. And then you just sit down and you eat it. It's fabulous. If you really want this to be much more substantial and a meal, and I know you're a vegetarian, so this is probably not something you could do, but you could omit the meat. While the squash is cooking, saute some sausage. I use Italian sausage, of course. Saute it, a little bit of garlic, I season it, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, whatever you want. And I stuff. You can even put like you can put chopped onion in there and saute it. You're going to saute it all together, and then stuff the well in the squash with this stuffing and serve it. And you've got a meal. You've got a little squash meal there, and then you've got the stuffing, the meat stuffing. You could also stuff it with all kinds of vegetables, whatever pleases you, whatever makes you happy. Anything savory that makes you happy, you can.
So either go with the kind of the brown sugar monk fruit type of sweet, or you can go tart or savory, I guess is what it should be called.
Yep.
And that would be like salt, pepper, garlic, those kinds of
Absolutely.
flavors, like Italian seasoning kind of stuff. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
I know what Glenn's having for dinner.
And you just put it all in the well, and really, there it is. It's either a side dish or a meal. When you stuff it, of course, with the vegetables or with the sausage or whatever. You could even use ground meat, whatever makes you happy.
I too also wondered what you did with that particular one. I've never.
There you go.
So,
It's very similar to how I treat spaghetti squash. I do make spaghetti squash, and I think I was inspired by you years ago to learn how to do that. But this one, now you're talking about how you save the seeds. And every year when it's pumpkin time right now, I do this exact same thing with pumpkin seeds. So tell everybody how you can use the seeds.
Oh, I'm a seed freak. I love those pumpkin seeds, any of that stuff. When we first got married, my husband would say, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "You're going to love this. When you're watching a movie and you're sitting down and you're relaxing on the couch, you're not going to be able to put these down." So what you want to do is you want to rinse them. So you get and you know this from your pumpkin. You want to get all the fiber out so that you just have the seeds, right?
I call it the guts.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of the no squash guts, and and dry them a little bit. They don't have to be totally dry, but they should be pretty dry. I take a small, depending on the size of the squash, but usually a small, like cookie sheet, and I cover it the bottom with parchment paper. I have no idea how people lived without parchment paper, but right? I know that they did because I did. And so you spread the seeds out in a single layer in the parchment paper and drizzle them just a little bit. Like I take a handful of olive oil and I just drizzle them so that they have a little something to, like, for the salt to stick to. Right. And then I cover them, sprinkle them with salt a little bit. You can use garlic salt if you like that. You can use any kind of seasoned salt. I prefer just salt, like, I would eat like popcorn or pumpkin seeds or whatever with regular salt. Stick them in the oven at 350. Let them roast a little bit. You're going to have to turn them so they get a little crispy on either side. But when they look like, I guess when they look like they're done, when they look like they're brown, and they're crunchy, and you can do this, you can taste this by, scooping up one of these and seeing what it tastes like. Not that anybody would do this, but so that you end up with nothing left in the pan. But then you take them out of the oven and you just munch on, let them cool a little bit, and you just munch on them the way you would any other nut.
I love it. And the thing is, the oven's already gone and roasting, so you might as well, 2 for 1 deal.
Absolutely.
So, oh my gosh, Pat, this is so fun to talk to you. Will you please come on again and keep us updated on the story that you're writing? Because I think that would just be so wonderful to hear about. And are you going to put the horses in the story too? The fact that he was delivering, working with the horses?
I may. You never know.
Love it.
You never know. But yes, I will keep you posted, and I will definitely come back. Just holler. I'm right here.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
We'll have you on around the holidays. Come up with a really good Christmas type recipe, and we'll have you on.
I have a Christmas Eve recipe that the Italians have on Christmas Eve because we cannot eat meat. So it's vegetarian friendly, and it is very good.
All right, Booker, Glenn. Booker.
All right. No
Pat,
problem. We're
much
always glad to have
love.
Pat back. What an amazing story about her family in Chicago and that he was driving his frickin' horses by when the Valentine's Day massacre happened.
Okay, so as a person who is not as up to date, and I didn't want to sound stupid, what is the Valentine's Day massacre?
I don't
Am
remember.
I dumb for not knowing?
It was a mafia related thing, and I don't remember exactly. I'd have to look it up. But basically, it was this warehouse or back alley. I can't remember. But they were up against the wall. I know that. And they basically machine gunned a whole bunch of people. And that was the Valentine's Day massacre. I know it was mob related, and we're going to have listeners correct me on this too. And there was a movie about it, and I watched the movie, but it was so long ago, I don't quite remember, but it was awful. And it involved Tommy guns. So there you go. And he was driving his horses by. His horses, by the way, were better trained than mine because mine would have been in the next county with Tommy guns going.
I just Googled it. It says the most horrific shooting in mob history.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And he was smart to keep going. He knew enough to do that.
Just keep going.
What amazing stories that people have about their families. By the way, if you're a listener and you have an amazing story about your grandparents or parents, email me at glenn@horseradionetwork.com. We're apparently on a roll. Maybe that'll be the theme for next year, is our amazing families, those of us that have them. We'll talk about your amazing families, but email me. I'd love to hear it. Next up, we have Kirsten Kopp, and you're going to see why I have her on, speaking about amazing.
It's scary to travel without roadside protection. This Halloween, don't get caught in a nightmare on the highway. Join US Rider and save 20% on new memberships with code USROCT25. Offer ends soon, so visit usrider.org today.
Well, our next guest, his name is Kristen Kopp, and we've been friends for about 10 years, but she's done most everything in her horse career. I knew her from polo. She was very active in women's polo, but she's also a TV and media producer, and she has had a successful career as a realtor in Wellington. Plus, she's a private pilot. Plus, she has an amazing horse husband I want to talk about. And I'm adding her, Jamie, to the badass category.
I love it.
Because she's done a lot of badass things. And I've followed your private pilot thing on all your Facebook posts. But you're going on a whole new adventure, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But, I mean, you've had an amazing time playing polo and doing all the TV and media stuff and being a realtor. I mean, you've really had 3 or 4 lifetimes down there in Wellington.
Oh, well, thank you, Glenn. I sound fantastic the way you described me. Wow, I'd like to know me at this point. Well, thank you. Yes, I just, life is very short, and I want to cram as much as I can into this short time we're all given. And yes, I've had quite a few adventures, and horses have played a huge part of most of my life. Obviously, I wasn't born here. I was born in England, and right from before I could even walk, I was pony mad, and so spent my youth riding horses. And then when I emigrated over to the States in 1996, to Atlanta, immediately I fell in love with horses and the horse riding over here. And I've been fortunate enough to compete in most of the English disciplines. I started eventing in Atlanta. And when I moved down to Palm Beach in about 2010, I discovered Wellington and the winter mecca of the horse world. And I was lucky enough. I was like a kid in a candy store. So I tried everything. I've got my dressage bronze medal. I've show jumped. I've owned Grand Prix 5-star horses, which was fantastic. I had to fire myself from riding. And yes, you're right, Glenn. I played polo for many years and truly enjoyed that endeavor.
You know, Kristen, we were talking last week on the show about polo. Polo is one of those sports disciplines that every horse girl in America, or every guy for that matter, thinks they want to try or wants to try.
Absolutely. And it was my great privilege to, for several years during the summer, I would go up to the Virginia international polo club and help them run it up there. And in my capacity up there, I was able to teach female riders a bit about polo. And usually what I found with women, and especially, is that they were like, usually women enter into the polo scene and they are already riders in some discipline. So they're usually better riders than men, because men are generally older. They've made their pot of gold, so they're able to invest in polo. But they usually are drawn to the sport for adrenaline, not because they have a history of riding. So anyway, women usually come to the polo scene and say, well, I love the horses, but I don't like, it's a contact sport. And they say, I don't like that. I'm a bit afraid about the contact element. And I'd say, don't worry. Look, here's a ball. I'll knock it in front of you. You just have to hit it before that person. And all of a sudden, these women, you see their eyes light up, that sort of Amazonian Bodicea tendency. The female warrior comes out and they're like, really? Oh, I'm going to get there. And all of a sudden, everything goes out the window. The horses enjoy it. Obviously, they're on experienced polo ponies, and women make extremely good polo players.
It's funny because there are people who don't know do criticize polo for the horse's benefit. Every horse I've ever seen play polo loves playing polo. You can tell they wouldn't do it to the degree they do if they didn't love playing polo.
Well, I think obviously there's the old argument, are we hurting horses? Well, yes, sure. If you asked a horse and they could talk, they'd probably say, well, actually, Kirsten, I'd rather spend all day in a field. Thank you very much. Just leave me alone. However, obviously, we love our horses. And if you think about how horses live in the wild, they're nomadic herd animals. With polo, you have to have a lot of horses because, each game is made up of at least 4, if not 6 chukkers, and you're galloping horses for a lot of it, and the horses get tired, so you swap the horses out. So at least, even at low goal, you want to have 4 horses, and you keep those horses very much more in a herd environment than some other sports. So for me, I had 7 horses, and I would they would all know where they went in their separate stalls for downtime and feeding and stuff. But the rest of the time, they lived as a herd. They loaded as a herd. They tied on the side of the trailer, and so they were very happy horses in that aspect.
Well, I wanted to mention your husband, because he comes into play with your next adventure. But when I saw the trailer, I didn't know all that stuff about, Jamie's husband was an F-16 pilot. Now he's a commercial pilot. Your husband was a military pilot as well, but then went on to have a very badass career doing other things. So tell us about what he used.
Well, first of all, we like to marry men that just try to kill themselves, and we have to pick up the pieces. It's fine. Like we're used to.
Well, that's absolutely true. He would describe himself as a glorified crash test dummy. So
That's fun.
So he's a former Navy commander. He spent 27 years in the military, and he was a helicopter test pilot in the military.
A test pilot.
Yes, that's the crash test dummy.
Yeah.
And when he left the military, he went straight into working for Sikorsky as a helicopter test pilot. Sikorsky make Black Hawks, and we're very fortunate that there is a major airport, private airport that Lockheed Martin, that now owns Sikorsky, run in Palm Beach County.
Oh, right down.
And
okay.
Yeah, and so that's where he worked when I met him on a blind date. I'll have you know, Match.com. I'm not sponsored by them, but that's how I met him. So, ladies, late in life, don't give up. I mean, I had a horse farm in Wellington. He lived 2 miles away from me in Aero Club, and I'd never met him, and we went on a blind date. So there you go.
And was he the one that taught you to fly then?
Sort of, Glenn. So
because that never
was
works
the plan.
out usually.
Right. And you can probably tell by now that if someone tells me I can't do something, it's like a red rag to a bull. I'm going to darn well prove them wrong and do it. So when we got married and I found myself living in Aero Club and I was surrounded by planes, and guess what? My husband is a CFI, that's a certified flight instructor. So he could teach me to fly. And I was like, this is not only something I have to try, but I can do it quite cheaply as well. Because, of course, planes and horses are expensive. And so that was the idea. He was meant to teach me to fly. And everybody we knew said, that will not work out. And I said, oh no, you don't understand. Our love is different from yours. We're special and all of this stuff. Glenn, I fired him 5 times. 5 times. I mean, in the end, I found this lovely Latina female certified flight instructor, and she was amazing, and she got me over the finish line. But it's true. Also, he taught in a very militaristic style. And Glenn, I'm not a candidate. I'm not a military type of person, and I didn't respond well.
Oh, this wasn't going to work. I
don't
know any time it ever has.
So I have to jump in because I had one of those spouse taxi rides, and where all of us women, the wives, all gathered at the fighter squadron, and we all got to go drive around and think. But we're all a bunch of women that are like super excited, and it's probably like herding cats. And my husband was in charge of all of us, and I finally had to pull him aside, and I was like, "Listen, you're an asshole. Like, what are you doing?" Like, these are a bunch of women that are excited. I'm sorry. Like, we're in flight suits for the first time. You're like militarily telling us where to be. No. We don't work like that. I'm sorry. We don't work for you.
Did they all thank you with a drink later?
Oh, man. I was like, oh, you suck at work. You're way more fun at home.
It's absolutely true. I mean, the last time I flew as a student pilot with him, was every time you get to a certain stage in your training, you have to be signed off by an instructor to go do something. And so he was going to fly with me to do my first solo, which is a huge, very, very stressful undertaking. It's the first time you're on your own in a plane. And so we fly over to Pahokee, which is a very quiet airport, to do my solo. And Ken, my husband, gets out. And I mean, the atmosphere is crackling. He's making me so nervous. And he said, listen, just do 3 touch and goes. That's all you have to do. That's when you don't stop the plane. You just keep going and you take off again. So three laps. And I'll be here, but I'll be instructing you the whole time on this handheld radio. And as he says it, he's so nervous, he drops the radio in a puddle. It stops working. I slam the door shut and I go, bye, see ya. And he's like, and I take off, and I swear I was so relieved that his nervous energy had left the plane. It was easier for me to do it. So, yeah.
Well, now that leads us to the next thing. So you guys, and this, by the way, I even think some horse people have this gene in them where at some point in life they want to sell everything and do something truly crazy and fun. Nobody ever does it except you guys. So you sell the planes, you sell the house, and this guy who you couldn't even have as your instructor, you're deciding to get in a small space and travel around the world with on a boat. So you guys sold everything and got a boat, and now you're going to travel the world on a boat. You realize they get smaller as you go along, right?
Well, it does sound a little extra, doesn't it? And but that's exactly what we're going to do. So we did. We sold we had 3 planes at one point. We've sold all of those. We sold our house. And we bought a boat. We have a 60-foot Katie Krogan trawler style boat. So for listeners that don't understand anything about boats, which actually I fall into that category quite a lot of time, a trawler looks a bit like a Popeye fishing boat.
It does. I saw the picture of your boat. It looks like Popeye's boat.
It does, except it is tricked out inside. And believe me, this is not my first boat I've tried with my husband. Once again, we started off with a monohull, which is like a sailboat. And I just couldn't stand the leaning over of the boat.
And
I was
looks like a lot of work sailing.
Golly. Yeah, it absolutely is. And you're hitting your head and your feet. I've got big feet. So I was like, no, I can't do this. So then we swapped out to a catamaran, which, are those beautiful ones you see cruising around the Mediterranean with, beautiful people on them. And I thought that this is it. That's me. But no, it wasn't. As soon as we hit rough water, that thing started, it hobbledy-hoys in the water, and it also sort of heals. But the trouble with a catamaran, if it heals too much, something snaps and they can capsize. And anyway, that wasn't good for me either. So finally, this trawler, this is a tank. It looks
stable. It does look stable.
Oh, and it's got digital stabilizers. I mean, we're doing, you see a lot of these influencers and these TikTokers, and they're all beautiful, young, penniless people on these boats, and things get, break, and they're like, oh, well, we're young and fabulous and poor. No, that's not how we're doing this. We're doing this in luxury. This thing has got a full galley kitchen. It's got a deep freeze. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It may sound like, I'm adventuring and going off into the wilderness, which indeed I am, Glenn, but I'm doing it in style.
As I would expect you to.
Did I see that you're taking your dog with you too?
Yes, we are indeed. And she's not one of these small lap dogs. In fact, she found us on the runway at Aero Club a couple of years ago. She bounded up. It turns out that her real daddy had unfortunately passed away. She was being looked after by someone who wasn't really set up to look after a dog. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we adopted her, and she's coming with us. So as if this isn't a hard enough challenge, my husband right now is actually at the vet's, filling out the USDA paperwork and checking on the vaccines so that she can experience this with us. And we'll be sharing our stories and challenges of what that's all about, going from country to country with a dog.
Well, I got to tell you, you're going to be documenting it on YouTube, and you being an ex-TV and media producer, before we started recording, I said your trailer. They did a trailer for this trip, and it's absolutely fabulous. It's very well done, and I've seen a lot of YouTube. It's very well done, and I said you must have professionals doing it for you, and she said yes, me. So you did a great job. It's really good.
Well,
I'm used to those influencers that do it
MacGyver.
themselves for a while, but no, I can't wait. I've already subscribed, so I will put a link to your page in the show notes. But tell everybody it's Unanchored. Is that the name of the page?
Yes, it's Unanchored Life. So we have, thank you very much, Glenn, for subscribing. We have a YouTube channel, and also you can find us we've got a website. You can become a member. We're calling it Become a Crew Member, and you can actually follow us on GPS and see our plan. And there's going to be lots of information there for people who, you may never leave these shores, but you can live vicariously through us.
Well, and I think your husband is a daredevil, so there'll be some daredevil stuff that you'll probably be drinking a martini watching him do. At least I would be, because I can imagine the trouble he's going to get into around the world. Just.
He just looks for disasters. He just loves them. Whereas I'm not the same. Yes, I'll definitely be stocking up the boat with all kinds of wines and things like that to keep me sane.
Well, good luck. You're leaving shortly, I think. So we'll be following your adventures on YouTube, and hopefully you'll get a horseback ride in here or there at the countries you visit.
I recommend vodka, by the way. Let's step it up.
Yeah, wine's not going to be strong enough.
Thank you both so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate it.
You can enjoy your favorite equine videos all in one place with Ride TV, the ultimate equine streaming platform. The newly relaunched Ride TV has all the series you love, like Cowgirls and Ridiculous Ranches, plus top-tier training videos and event footage from BailRacing.com and Horse and Rider On Demand. Whether you're ready to relax with your favorite series, binge watch competition footage, or train with a world champion, subscribe to Ride TV today for only $19.99 to see where your ride takes you. Visit ridetvgo.tv to subscribe.
Well, I got to tell you, Chad he was a test pilot for helicopters.
Nope.
I mean, at least in an airplane, you have a chance, right, of floating down.
Yeah. You can glide down in an airplane. Helicopter, you just drop.
Yeah. I mean, there's some kind of, well, I can't say it on here, but he has them right there.
Cojones.
Yes. He definitely has them. All right, it is time for That Girl Moments. We do it once a month, and we ask our auditors what happened. It's kind of explained to That Girl Moment.
So that girl is like when you are the one making the scene, basically.
Yes.
And usually it has something to do with horses. Like the time I was in the middle of a warm-up arena and there's all these women and children and men just standing around and my horse bolts through the group, like things like that. You're that guy or that girl, well, you'll get an idea. We've got 4 here because we're short on time. So I think
do mine first before we start?
Oh, yes, please. So you give us the example of that girl.
So Jennifer, has this Kentucky mountain saddle horse, and she's been having some challenges training him. It's been a learning curve for Jennifer, and those that have heard Jennifer knows that she's trained a lot of horses, mostly thoroughbreds. And this has been a different experience, and he is a little spooky at stuff, and she's still working through all of that, and she's had her challenges with this particular horse. It's definitely been a learning curve for her. So she, out of the blue Friday, Charlotte, our friend Charlotte, said, I'm going to this clinic where they're teaching to do obstacles and things. And Charlotte was actually bringing her horse. And she did it from the wheelchair and everything. And Jennifer, out of the blue, I thought she was going to go and audit. And Saturday night, she says, I'm doing this clinic tomorrow. I signed James and I up. We're going, and I'm going to do the clinic. And I was shocked, first of all, that I just was shocked. And apparently they were that girl and that horse during the clinic. Oh. James had his meltdown. He apparently started off really good, and then in the middle had his 15-minute meltdown where she had to take him away from everybody else. Thought she was going to quit. And then the instructor came over, took James, and he was fine. And she said, that's when I learned that I need to learn. So she was that girl, and Charlotte would probably attest to that. I said, was Charlotte nearby? She said, oh, no, Charlotte was smart, had her horse way away from him. She was that girl, and he was that horse. And James was a little tired this morning. He was sound asleep this morning, but they both got mentally challenged yesterday. But that's what that girl is.
Gotcha. Yes. I've been that girl. I'm always that girl on that horse. And sometimes I go to shows and I see that girl and I'm like, I will ride by and I'll be like, I've been you. I've been you.
But that's how you learn,
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Totally. I mean, just, I could be you tomorrow. So it's not like I'm done with it. Okay. So I love this one. Claire submitted her that girl moment.
Oh, and it says, Jennifer just got back. I'm glad I was done.
Yeah. Shh. Our church congregation had a get-together where we shared our hobbies and our interests. One lady had a display showcasing her passion for running marathons and ultra marathons, like 100 miles. And as she was explaining how she has to carry certain kinds of food with her and how she has to be sure to get enough salt and electrolytes, I blurt out, "This is just like endurance racing." And I explain how endurance horses have the same needs during a race. And this woman looks super self-conscious and says, "Yeah, I'm the horse." She said we both stood there awkwardly as I realized I basically called this amazing woman a horse. Which for horse people is not an insult, but for
what do? You hide the rest of the time, don't you?
Yeah,
You just
go.
saunter into a corner and hope you never see that woman again.
Oh,
So, can I do the
man.
next one? It's a horse husband one.
Oh, definitely. I was make you.
Sandra says, back when my husband was just a fiance, he went to his first horse show with me to watch. We've all been there. I am in the middle of my reining pattern on a very hot day in Stephenville. As I'm about to run down and do the sliding stop, he comes up to the fence line and flags me down. I thought surely there was something wrong, like my daughter had called and there was an accident or something horrible like that. So I aborted my pattern and I went over to where he was on the fence. He stood there with a glass of water and said, "I know you were hot out here, sweetheart, and you need to hydrate. I brought you a glass of water."
Oh my God.
I could have killed him. Even though he was having the most sincere intentions, I could have killed him. I think Jennifer would have killed me.
I'm working here.
She would have killed me. She'd have broken up with me. These people are married now.
That's tough. I get it. Like Chad will be like, "Can I get you something to eat?" I'm like, "Stop offering me food."
I know. I learned a long time ago, and I made the mistakes. I made all the mistakes of trying to be doting when Jennifer was at horse shows. You don't dote. You just hide, and she'll ask when she needs something.
You just be 15 feet behind the horse. Oh,
Jennifer's clapping now.
I heard her. That was great.
Oh, my God.
Just stand over there, and if I
Would
look
you
at
have stayed with him?
Oh,
Could you have
man.
forgiven that one?
I mean, he was trying to be sweet, but like so not attentive to what she's actually doing.
Yeah, see, that's what struck me. I think I would have known enough not to stop the dressage test.
Sandy, I guess it worked out because you married him. He must have been real cute.
He's probably learned over the years. I need to get him on the show.
I bet he's hot.
I need to talk about that day with him.
Yeah.
Sandy, could you have him contact me? I need to get him on the show.
Yeah, I need a picture. Aaron says the HRN That Girl Endurance Green Bean team is in first place for our AERC division. So I didn't realize they did things other than the Tevis. So I guess they're just like a team for all
Endurance
time?
riders do other things other than Tevis.
Oh, listen, I know, but I didn't know they had a team for all the rest of the things.
Oh, yeah. This is the Green Bean team is the brand new ones.
Okay.
The rookies.
She said that they are leading and they're in first place despite the fact that 2 of the team members have broken bones over the summer with that girl moment. And you think she must have broken her bone with a horse thing. No, she said, "I tripped over a rock and broke my elbow and my hand by tripping over a rock." Jillian
Sounds like
was
Lisa,
on
doesn't it?
One girl broke a finger riding in a field of loose cattle.
But they're still in first place. Good job, guys. Good
Now,
job.
the last one I'll do is my favorite one because it does not matter. I am always this girl. I will find a place that I think is just wonderful. And then, "Hello, how are you? Good to see you." And what I'm talking about, she said, I was riding in Morocco and I found what I thought was a lovely wee spot just out of sight of the group. So basically, you got to pee. What are you going to do? She said it was very difficult to find a good, place to go in the desert. And mid-wee, I see that I am, in fact, in very plain sight of the road as multiple cars drove by. Yep.
I think in Morocco they've seen it before.
When I had Barrett here, I was like, you know what? I got to stop peeing in the stalls because that brother's going to walk by.
That's true. And
Nice.
I understand why you do, because your house and barn are apart. They're not together. It's not like you have to watch 10 feet.
No, and the expense of putting in a bathroom, I was going to have to put in
need a separate
septic system. And I was like, I can pee in a stall for $5,000. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you're back. You can now pee in the stall again, so you're safe.
Yeah, because I'm alone. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Do you want to hear that poem again? I can play it for you.
I'm all alone. I can pee whenever I want. Oh, darn.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. A couple of great guests and a lot of fun on today's show. Hang on, auditors. We'll have about 10 more minutes of fun. We have about 10 more minutes. We can do this AI thing I put together. But in the meantime, we have a full week of shows planned for you this week. So definitely join us and get your weird news into Weird News at horseradionetwork.com. I think I actually have the closing music working this time.
Let's see.
There.
Oh.
Yay! It worked. Forgot your spade neuter geld.
Spade neuter geld.